Hello and welcome back, and that is right, it is Prime Day once again. Just like we do every single year here on the channel, we scour through all the deals in different regions of the world to help you guys find the best deals within storage to make sure you got your backups in order there. As always, we're not monetizing this video, there's no ads. Obviously, all the stuff we are talking about, as like any other video, is linked in the description. So any of the deals we talk about, you can either get hold of them in the description below, or you can go ahead to this article that will be linked as we update it throughout the course of the next day or so with everything that we find. There's also another article that's a community mega thread that it's us and other users dumping in their deals there, and you'll notice other brands are listed in there as well. More on that in a moment. And an article that went live about 48 hours ago about the best NAS you can grab right now for about 500 nickers. So if you use those links, apart from the ones that people submit with their own community links there, we do end up getting a small commission here at NAS Compares, and it allows us to keep doing what we do. It's ultimately a fundraising drive that what we are doing right now. So straight out the gate, I will get some quick disclaimers out of the way with regards to some different regions of the world. If you're only there for the deals, go to the bottom of the screen, skip straight ahead, and you can go to the chapter there. But I would say right now, if you are based in Canada, if you are based in Australia, you guys have been done dirty. There is sod all. To put it into Frank, I know you're kind of getting used to this year on year. If I go ahead and just type in NAS searches there, and again, I've gone through hard drives, I've gone through SSDs, I've gone through switches, and they fall into three categories. Number one, deals that are already available in other regions, more on that in a moment. Two, deals that are just straight out not deals, they are fake as F, or they are things that are just horrifically priced for the quality of the goods that are on there. And unfortunately, the things that are based in your region, I'll touch on some later on. If you are in Australia, if you are in Canada, the majority of the deals that you've got in there in your particular listings for Amazon within Prime Day, one, you're actually paying more than anywhere else in the world for the same product on offer. And I'm going to talk about Terramaster later on in the video. But yeah, so I'm not going to be talking about any offers that I found in Canada and Australia because they are pretty much the same as anywhere else in the world, or that your version of the deal, unfortunately, you guys have been done dirty there. The other thing I'm going to highlight, back to Terramaster, Terramaster have pretty much put us an offer on everything, and thanks to Eddie and his smart brain there, he ripped apart a lot of the listings and was able to find links towards every single region for Terramaster. So if you're specifically looking for a Terramaster NAS or a DAS, that hybrid thing, go to this linked article in the description at Terramaster there. And this has got all of the links to those individual products, all the way down to the actual price that's been knocked off there. It's very hard to do this for other brands, but because of the way Terramaster do global branding, it allows us to sort of tear that apart. Another thing I'll highlight, if you're in the US, head over to B&H. I know this is an Amazon Prime Day sale, but at the same time, B&H, to be competitive, are running numerous offers right now on NAS systems. So if you are looking to purchase a Synology NAS in particular, there's a QNAP switch and some Synology routers and some storage hard drives. They're running quite impressive promos. And indeed, this is the best price I've seen the DS923 Plus right now. Not only because it's $599, but then you get another 120 nicker sliced off. It's a great little promo. I don't know how much longer it's going to run for. It's already been going for a few days, so just keep that in the back pocket if you can. Now, last thing, when you are searching for stuff on Amazon, you don't have to take my word for it. Just because I'm saying these things are an offer and these are things that I would personally buy if I was looking for that product at this price, you don't have to take my word for it. Two places I would recommend utilising. Let's take a great example here. This is the DS1522 Plus. Go ahead, grab that link at the top of the screen, and one, head over to Camel and dump that link in there, and that will give you real-time information about this product's history, and you can find out more about how long it's actually been any given price, or if there's any significant drop. And as you can see there, this has been listed at $704 for a very that's kind of been the RRP, but as you can see, it has been $699 for a very, very long time. And indeed, only during Prime Day 2 and Black Friday was it on offer. So to me, that rings alarm bells, and I already know how much that system is worth, and I've seen it on offer before. But to me, that wouldn't be a great indicator that this is any kind of major promotion, because it's been static at that price for a very, very long time. The next thing I'd recommend doing, once again going for that product, is to use fake spot to look for reviews. And this allows you to not necessarily trust the 8,000 reviews, because more often than not, you do find, as you can see there, the wrong chuffing product. And it's this coalescing of reviews that Amazon does that can be super annoying. So I just wanted to include these little tips at the beginning, but let's crack on with the promotions. So first up, we'll start with the UK, Amazon Prime Day here in the UK. There's a handful of offers. I'll be honest, the Terramaster offers I mentioned earlier on are probably best here than anywhere else. So if you can maybe export it, if that's an option for you, and you want to save a few quid, maybe look into that. But at least for now, first one, Seagate Iron Wolf Pro drive, very important. The Pro, before anyone wonders why this 4TB at 62 Nika is a decent deal. It's a 7200 RPM drive with 5 years of warranty and 3 years data recovery there on board. And again, 62 Nika for 4TB. You look at that in a 4-bay device, you're looking about 240 Nika, and suddenly you are looking at 12 terabytes of 7200 RPM. And that's in a RAID 5, so you've got that extra drive failover as well at the other end. And moreover, that means you can probably largely saturate to around 700, maybe 750 megs, a 10G NAS connection on just 4 of those drives. It's a decent little price, I would say. Next up for SSD, the WD Black SN850X, very fast Gen 4 SSD there, 2TB at 118 Nika. A very good price. I remember when this drive first rocked out, it was on the back of the SN850, and that drive was, arriving at around 220, 230 for that price tag there. So that's a huge drop. I mean, ignore that RRP nonsense there at the bottom, but it is a very good price for a 2TB, 7,300 megabytes per second drive that cracks the I believe in 1.2 million IOPS. Very, very easily there. Staying on the subject of Gen 4 SSDs, the Lexar. This is a DRAM-less SSD there. And again, exactly the same price, 119, 7400 RPM, but it's DRAM-less as well. It requires host memory buffer, but I would still say, in the absence of the WD Black, or maybe you're not happy with WD because of any of the stuff, they've maybe done in the last few years, this is a great little alternative there. And again, I've utilized both of these drives, both in the PS5 and PC environment, both of which flying colours in terms of performance there, both high IOPS, and the Lexar particularly hitting those high performance numbers even though it's DRAM-less. Turning to the subject of Terramaster, we've got 3 Terramaster NASes to talk about here. I'd technically say 2, but I'm going to include one of them anyway for reasons that will become clear. This is the F2424. This is their N95 powered, so that's a quad-core Intel integrated graphics powered CPU with 8GB of DDR5 memory, so on-die DDR5. It also has 2 M.2 NVMe slots inside at 3x1. You've also got 2 SATA bays there in the front supporting up to 24TB drives, and the system arrives with dual 2.5 gigabit Ethernet on the rear and 10 gig USB. Also, Terramaster is one of the few brands out there that allows users to not only use their own TOS software, but you can also use TrueNAS, you can also use OpenVideo Vault, you can also use Unraid, whatever you want to do, and it doesn't affect your hardware warranty there. We've done lots of guides on installing it, and for a 2-bay system sub 300 quid, this is a great choice. I would go one step further, and this is what I meant about 2 or 3 items. The previous generation device, the Terramaster F243, this is the 2022-2023 generation device, and this arrived with that quad-core N5095, the CPU that the majority of other brands are using currently, when these guys have already switched up to the new one. With 4 gig of DDR4, it's got 2 M.2s inside, 2 SATA bays there on the front, and it's got 2.5 GBE on the rear. It's very, very similar, but I would say the design of this device is better. The actual CPU in question is much more modern, it's actually more powerful as well, with a lower TDP, by the way, so it actually starts at 1 gigahertz and can be burst up to 3.4, but I believe it's 15 watts TDP. And for a 20 Nika price difference, if you were thinking about buying a Terramaster NAS anyway, this is a great choice. But if you're looking for something beefy and you're looking for something with good bandwidth externally, good bandwidth internally, and you're looking to save a few quid, this one right here, the Terramaster T9450. We talked about it on the channel before. It is a 9-bay SATA storage system supporting up to 24 TBs, but it also has 2 times 10 GBE and 2 times 2.5 GBE, 25 gigabit Ethernet potential external network connectivity, and the system even has a couple of M2 NVMe slots inside. It's got the tiered storage, it's robust as F, and you can use third-party software as well. It's $824. It ain't cheap. But show me a NAS from one of their competitors at that price tag with two 10 GBEs, which you can use copper to SFP adapters, and the rest of this bundle at that price point. I haven't seen anyone even in the DIY sector rival something like this. But that's enough of the UK. Let's switch to the US. Now, I will say straight away, several of the things I've already discussed, the WD Black SN850X and the Terramasters there, also appear on Amazon US. So again, you've already got access to those. But to add to that list, we've got this one. This is a dual port 10 gig SFP NIC, $59 there. Again, I don't think it's worth $74. I think when I looked online, I'd seen this listed on the likes of AliExpress and more for about this price. But this is the cheapest I've ever seen it on Amazon. Yes, you're going to need your own SFP adapters there. You're definitely going to need to either get your own transceivers with cabling, or you're going to have to go ahead and find a way to use SFP to copper adapters. But still, for a dual port card at $59, and we have tested very similar cards to this with this exact same chipset, by the way. Keep auto negotiation in mind, by the way. On DIY systems and on Ugreen, and it was visible on both. So again, there are some open NAS applications for it as well. But again, if you are looking at an adapter alongside this, this is the cheapest SFP to copper adapter I found on Amazon right now during the Prime Day sale at 34 Nika. You will see other transceiver adapters for copper to SFP. I will say some of them are not rated at 10G, some of them are not open to auto negotiation down to 2.5 gig, and some of them, crucially, do not list the distance, so do keep that in mind. This is a 30 meter SFP to copper adapter there for $34. I would go for this personally. If I didn't already have like 4 in the studio, I would probably buy 2 of these just to keep them on a shelf. Next, this is something else that I'm debating with Eddie to buy for us now. This is the NAS module board here. It's got 4 M.2 boards there. It's very much a DIY project, and I'm thinking about getting one of these for the Friday videos anyway, so I've been keeping an eye on it, and it was on offer. This is the ball ache. It was on offer, and it is still on offer in the UK region. And if you look here and you get this model, it is still down to 138 if you go for one of the most bare bones options. But sadly, a lot of these are starting to disappear from the deal reg. So I'm probably going to buy this after this video. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm saying quite literally, this is a deal that I would go for because I'm chuffing going to do it. When you see it on the video, you see it on YouTube, that's why. The last one, the next deal I'm going to say right now has a caveat. And that is, right now, this is the Minisforum MS1. We talked about it on the channel before. This is a great little workstation device. It's got a couple of 10G ports on the rear. It's got 3 M.2 ports as well. Those 3 M.2s, by the way, we are working on our MS01 here in the background of the channel because we received one of these. This is, and you may have, some of you already highlighted it in the description, by the way, when I teased it. This is a 6 times M.2 upgrade board for the MS01 that Minisforum are working on. Nearly said MSI. So again, it's a bloody good product. However, you may have noticed I highlighted that CPU. Why? Well, for those of you that follow Level 1 Tech and Wendell over there, as well as if you head over to Gamers Nexus, you'll know that things are really hitting the fan with regards to Intel CPUs at the moment. And with that in mind, a lot of the 13th generation of Intel Core CPUs that we're seeing in a lot of kind of OS-free NAS systems are slightly coming under the microscope right now. So if you do go for this, keep that in mind, that there is definitely something fishy happening with Intel CPUs with regards to failure rates there. So again, production quality standard, they are investigating over there, to them, fair play. But just add that caveat to your mind if you are considering the MSI01 and that CPU there. There are other options, but pretty much it's the 1290 or the 1390 really only. But let's move over to some European regions. And now over to Amazon Germany, and I'll say straight away, lots of the deals we've discussed already are on there. So again, the WDSN 850X, the Seagate Ironwall 40B Pro, they are currently still promo there in Germany. But there really isn't much to go along with. There's the usual Terramaster stuff that we've already talked about a billion times. But let's talk about things that are moderately unique. Number one, this switch here, it's an 8 times 2.5 GBE and 2 times 10 GBE switch at 71. Bear in mind, I paid 65 quid for that 5-port 10 GBE and 2.5 GBE switch there, which I think you can get for as low as 55 to 60 now. But this is an 8-port switch here. It's unmanaged, keep that in mind. And of course, the brand, who the hell are they? But still, nonetheless, most of these switches are currently on offer, and there's some decent configurations. But the best port ratio versus bandwidth versus price for me is this 8 times 2.5 GBE and 2 times 10 GBE switch there. Moving forward, 10 GBE, we already talked about a 2-port 10G card. This is specifically a card that we utilised in QNAP, in the QNAP desktop series there, the 872X and the 872XT, and we got this card working fine there. No mucking around with additional drivers, and it's a 2-port 10GBE card, knocking around for €67. Very similar to the US price that we saw, but it's nice to know that at least 2-port 10G cards have become more affordable, even if they are SFP, with the associated price increases with that. Now, again, as mentioned, all the other deals that I could find on Synology Germany were largely the same, but one thing I will highlight is this. These two devices here. Now, I'm struggling to call it a deal, but I wanted to include it in the video because I would really like to get some feedback on whether we should get this featured on the channel. This is a Fit, never heard of that. It's an i5, an i3 N305, so that's an 8-core, 8-thread Intel Alder Lake CPU there, running out the gate with 8 gig of memory. It's got two Gen 3 x 2 M2 NVMe slots in the base. It has got 2.5 GBE on the rear, and I will say straight away, this is one of the ugliest looking NASs I've ever seen. And overall, the system itself, arriving with an SSD in different configurations, is even cheaper than the Terramaster with the same price. To put that into perspective, if we look at those deals there, let's go to Canada, why not? And we'll look at the Pro, actually not Canada, we'll go for the US or Germany. So if we look at the Pro, and go for that one there, the M4, and it's going to convert to UK, that's £500 in the UK. And this is 8 gig, it's got the same N305 CPU, and they're flogging that for €351, which is approximately 300. It's going to be vaguely pound to euro ratios are pretty similar these days. But that's a huge drop in price. Also, it's third-party OS ready, so you can go ahead and install the third-party OS you like. And overall, I kind of like it. I mean, it's ugly as sin. And we're probably going to get one of these for the channel. But for the hardware on a DIY NAS system, I mean, the only thing it lacks really is 10 GBE, which I'm surprised they didn't integrate, given they are just going for custom board installed in there, probably an MITX. But overall, for the hardware, it's pretty tough to argue with some of the pricing we're seeing here. Yes, it's a lesser-known brand. And if you're prepared to take a risk, I just wanted to include it in the video, but also open up a discussion about maybe having it on the channel. But moving on. Now, please forgive the kind of bunching I've done there of a lot of smaller places in Europe. And I'm only really doing that because, one, the majority of the deals that I've already discussed thus far are available in those different regions. And two, again, the number of promo offers during Prime Day for these individual regions, Spain, Italy, France, the Netherlands, there just isn't a great deal of offers being extended. Now, on the one hand, you should take that as a compliment, frankly. If Amazon can't really, muck around with the tax system where you are, and, can't really offer those big offers a lot of the time, that's actually quite good for small businesses. It's quite good to making sure that money stays within the economy, and ultimately is a good thing. Nonetheless, if you're from those regions, you didn't come to this video for a lecture. You came to this video to know what was on offer and what was worth going for. So let's crack on. Number one, keep link here. It's a 5-port 2.5 GBE switch. Again, it's got those 5 times 2.5 GBE, and it's got a 10 GBE port. And it's even cheaper than a switch we talked about on the channel before. Again, at just €40, or just shy of €40 at 39. There's a great little balance there in terms of network connectivity and what you're going to be able to do. And just to put that into perspective, I was originally going to highlight this 18-port switch available in Amazon France, and this was, again, €200, and this is one 16 gig, couple of 10G ports there, 120 gig internal switching capacity. But I would say, for better value for money, you can go for all those multiple options. I still think this is probably the better shout for France there. Now, moving over, we can look at the Netherlands. Netherlands, pretty much nothing really unique over there, other than, obviously, as usual, Terramaster's bloody putting promos everywhere. But on top of that, they've got the Seagate Ironwolf Pro 4TB there, and only them, the UK and the US, seem to have this promo, a relatively cheap Pro Series drive there. And again, that's not a terrible little bargain price there for a Pro Series drive. They're moving over, looking at Italy. Italy is one of the few regions that still seems to be heavily engaging with the WD NAS series. And I've talked about this in other Prime and Black Friday videos, and I will say it again. This is not a good NAS now. It was a good NAS. It was a bloody great NAS. But you can definitely tell WD are winding down support of this series, and long-term security and network updates are going to be few far between, so keep it offline if you're going to use it. But more importantly, once you factor in the storage that's included, and you only use it as a local network backup, a targeted server-to-server rsync backup, or whatever you want to set it up as, then it becomes a good offer. So I know 1,359 there, euros doesn't seem like a great deal, but once you factor in the storage drives and factor it as a brainless target, then it's actually not a bad little suggestion there. Just keep the chuffing thing offline. And finally, ending there, we can talk a little bit about Spain. Reolink, again, as they have done in previous years, loads of camera offers there. I'm not going to focus too much on Reolink in this video, but I will say that of all the places in Europe, it did look like Spain was the one that was getting the widest and largest array of offers across the range of surveillance products. If you're going to look at buying a surveillance product and you look at the price difference, maybe if you're in Europe, take a quick moment to see what the price difference in euros in Spain to where you are, particularly if you are in the EU, because you can avoid some of that double tax crap of import. You can get yourself a decent little deal. But this has been Prime Day. Really thought I'd get to the end of that sentence without coughing. This has been Prime Day 2024. Again, I don't think there's going to be another video tomorrow on this. I will be adding deals alongside Eddie, and a bunch of other of the Inner Circle are going to be adding deals to this throughout the course of the day. I recommend you check them out. You can add deals very, very easily if you do find them. Say what they are, add all the extra details there, and then click add. And again, you can add your own affiliated links if you choose, and once they're in there, people can vote on them, and you can just click open if you want to access existing links. It's all that straightforward there, and there are absolutely loads, and this is periodically refreshed and changed and double checked every 1 to 2 hours, so some of the deadwood is removed there. Of course, then there's our best NAS for 500 Nika. There's that Terramaster listing there, as if you're not already sick of hearing the word Terramaster. And apart from that, we've got the updated article that I will be adding all of the offers and promos that I've talked about today into this article. But thank you so much for watching. Remember, the video isn't monetized, but everything is linked in the description, and we get an affiliate commission for anything you buy from there, which goes directly into supporting what we do. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.